Hi everyone, Dave here, Fit and Healthy Forever. This is a continuation of the mini-series I've been doing on could it be an adaptive response, and this one's on diabetes, but type 2 diabetes, not type 1. Type 1's a totally different kettle of fish. So think about it again. Could this so-called disease of diabetes type 2 be a response, an adaptive response, a clever, intelligent response by your body to the toxicity and nutrient deficient lifestyle that you put it through? That's basically what I'm asking. If you think about this, it makes so much sense, but I've never looked at it until I've been doing all this research in the last couple of years. And maybe if you just open your mind and think differently, then you may find the same thing. So first of all, what is type 2 diabetes? Why is it so prevalent? Almost 1 in 3 people are affected by it now, which is huge. I'll show you another figure shortly that will tell you what it was 100 years ago. It's an adaptive response by the body given to the toxic and nutrition deficient lifestyle we lead. That's my belief, and I'm asking you the same question. Type 1 diabetes is only 5% of cases, so 95% of all diabetes is type 2. This is why it's such an epidemic, I believe, because 95% of it is, shall we say, in a way self-inflicted. So if you fix the chemical and emotional and physical stress in your life, this will go a long way towards reversing type 2 diabetes or preventing. Now, I've talked about chemical, physical and emotional stress in other videos, and it's massive in lifestyles today, and it can't be avoided, but it can be reduced and coped with better if we do the right things. So if you give drugs to lower blood glucose, these drugs are known to actually increase disease and death. So when your blood glucose is high, like in type 2 diabetes, when you're given drugs to lower it, your body's adapting to something. It's high because it's adapting to something. You start lowering it, you're not taking away the cause, you're masking the cause and just papering over the cracks, basically. So you need to find out what the cause is and fix this. It's also known that vaccines are linked to diabetes. Lots of toxins from vaccines are injected into your body, and this elevates your blood glucose, which is something I didn't realise. But if that's elevating your blood glucose as well, how many vaccines do we have? The flu one, and kids have MMR, and they have rubella and measles and whatever else they have. And kids are having no end of vaccines as they're young now. So blood glucose is energy derived from food and also from stress, which, as I said earlier, I didn't realise. When you're stressed, your body elevates blood glucose. So, you know, I've learned something from this as well. Now, type 2 diabetes isn't your body going crazy and elevating blood sugar for no reason. There's got to be a reason behind it. Your body doesn't do stupid things. There's got to be a reason there. It's an adaptive response given the chemical, physical and emotional stress that you put yourself under. Now, I'll touch on physical, chemical and emotional stress in a minute and give you examples of what they may be. The solution is not to drug the body, it's to look for the underlying cause and fix it. We need to try and reduce or eliminate toxins, poisons and environmental stresses, and also clean up your diet. I know I keep touching on diet in all these videos, but think about it. When people say you are what you eat becomes you. Once it's in your body and digested, it becomes part of you. So if you're putting, pardon the expression, shit in there, that's because you're becoming part of it. So you're becoming shit inside. So anyway, a couple of research studies I come across. The Journal of Diabetes Science and Technology say that there is a type 3 diabetes now, technically. Alzheimer's is a form of diabetes. It involves the brain and it has features which overlap with type 1 and type 2 diabetes. People with diabetes are 50% more likely to develop Alzheimer's. So technically, they're saying there is a type 3 diabetes now. In the early 1900s, diabetes rates were, listen to this now, 0.0028% of the population. By 1933, which was 30 years later, it had risen 1,000% in the US alone. Now, the only thing I can think of, and I have no proof of this, but I think in the early 1900s is when we started to have a lot more, shall we say, carbohydrates in the diet, wheat and barley and potatoes and rice and stuff like that, more so than we ever did. So I think that may have a little bit of contribution towards it. Now, excuse me, diabetes causes a host of other issues like stroke, high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, elevated blood sugar, obesity, liver failure, and many more. So again, it's a byproduct of having high blood glucose. When I mentioned physical, chemical and emotional stress earlier, signs of like your physical stress is you may be getting stressed sitting in traffic, driving in heavy traffic, work, exercise is a form of stress. Your chemical stress is herbicides, pesticides that are on all your fruit and vegetables these days, car fumes, air pollution, things like that. Emotional stress, loss of a loved one, breakup of a relationship, money worries, debts, things like that. Now, I'm not saying you can eliminate all these, but if your immune system is fully fortified and functional, it can cope better with them. And if you can just try and lessen some of these things, whatever's in your control, and fortify your immune system, you're much better positioned to cope with these things. And it's not that difficult. I think I've managed to do it. So it's also known now that blood pressure medications can cause diabetes. The New England Journal of Medicine in 2000 said drugs used to treat high blood pressure might cause diabetes. Beta blockers may lead to diabetes. So they've known this since 2000, but it's not widely spoken of. You'll get the gist of this if you follow things. The reason they don't tell you things like this is because the pharmaceutical companies are multi-billion-dollar companies. They're not interested in whether you're healthy or fit or not. They're only interested in making money. I watched a video recently where a woman who worked for Merck, one of the biggest, or probably the biggest, producer of vaccines and pharmaceuticals, she was a rep and she left. And they had a meeting, like a team meeting one day, and she said that the basis of this team meeting is, we are not here to see people healthy, we are here as a business to make money. That was what they were told in this meeting. That's straight from someone who worked there. Now, when I say vaccines are proven to cause diabetes, in 2002 doctors attending a conference of the American College for Advancement in Medicine overwhelmingly agreed that vaccines can cause chronic diseases such as diabetes. This was reported by the Journal of Autoimmunity in August 2002. So all these years we've known these things and nobody does a damn thing about it. You're just left to your own devices. This is why you have to take your health in your own hands. The Japan Times 2014, I found this quite interesting. Hiroko Mori is a former head of infectious disease in Japan. He's 80 years old now and an expert on public health. And he said, times have changed. Children don't need to be vaccinated. Japan has one of the lowest infant mortality rates in the world. And this has come from the World Health Organization, the WHO. This is thought to be due to first-class sanitation and levels of nutrition. Children are losing their ability to heal naturally. Now, Japan don't offer MMR anymore. They don't see that it's necessary. So, you know, people need to look at this and say, well, why do we offer it? It's to make money. The basis of it all is to make money. There's a proviso with this particular comment. Third world countries who haven't got first-class sanitation and nutrition, they probably do need vaccines to help out. So that again makes sense. Vaccines where they're needed in third world countries that haven't got first-class sanitation and haven't got first class nutrition could be a good thing. So again, going back to what I've said in other videos, I'm not dismissing medications, vaccines and whatever else, but they shouldn't be the core of everyone's life. You go into doctor's surgeries now, they're absolutely crammed with people waiting to see the doctor for diagnosis of this, medication for that, pills for the other, and it shouldn't be like that. It just shouldn't. Now, another study, the British Medical Journal 2011, the effects of glucose lowering treatment on all-cause mortality. 13 studies were concluded on 34,500 patients, and there was a 47% increase in congestive heart failure. And what they said was 9% reduction in blood glucose equaled a 19% increase in all-cause mortality. A 14% reduction in blood glucose, equaled 43% increase in cardiovascular death. So what they're saying basically is, if you're taking medication to lower your blood glucose, it's causing a bigger percentage in all-cause mortality and cardiovascular death, because your body's adapting. It's adapting to the stress you're putting it through. So you lower that adaptation and your body's fighting to get it back again, and it's going to cause death. It's going to cause death. There's nothing so certain. The University of Texas, San Antonio, July the 6th, 2005. I found this quite interesting. Diet sodas may double your risk of obesity. Those who drank diet soda had a greater chance of becoming overweight than those who drank regular soda. These are obesity, diabetes linked. And how is that? A powerful hormone called leptin. Now, apparently leptin was only discovered about 10-12 years ago. And insulin and leptin work together to control the quality of your metabolism. So don't think because you're having diet soda it's okay. You don't need sodas at all. They're just full of, if they've got aspartame in them, that's proven to cause cancer. It's linked to cancer. So you don't need sodas. The odd one here and there, if you really need to, it's fine, but kids are drinking them all. Every time you see kids, they've got bottles of soda in their hand. Coca-Cola, lemonade, Diet this, Fanta. It can't be right. So just lastly, to top this off, they're now saying there's a new definition of type 2 diabetes, as well as all the sugar in diets and stuff. Today, type 2 diabetes can also be a failure of the body to metabolize toxic man-made fats and oils properly. Now you look at all packaged foods, fast foods, they've got things like your polyunsaturated vegetable oils, trans fats, hydrogenated fats. These are not good for you. In large doses, they are not good. You don't need that many omega-6s in your polyunsaturates. The omega-6s to omega-3s should be a 1-to-1 ratio ideally, but I'll guarantee most people are getting loads and loads of polyunsaturated omega-6s but no omega-3s. So again, omega-3 oils, fish oils, you need 3 grams a day. Make sure you're getting that in at least. Cut down on your polyunsaturated oils, vegetable oils, stuff like that. So also just make sure that you're looking at packages, what's in anything packaged. The general mantra is, if it's man-made, don't eat it. You look at packaged foods, tin foods, they've all got preservatives, hydrogenated fats, partially hydrogenated, trans fats. They're all toxic to your body. Just bear this in mind. This is another adaptive response, and let me know your thoughts. If you don't agree with this, tell me why. I would gladly look into it. But this makes so much sense to me. This is again from a Dr. Bergman in California. The guy's he's like a dog with a bone. He's convinced that the world is sick because the things we're doing to ourselves and the authorities are not telling us the right way to go. If you can see differently, please tell me. So, as always, if you like what I put out there, like and subscribe, tell your friends, anyone you think might be interested, and stay fit and healthy forever. Until the next video. Thank you.